Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the NS9 post-game show. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Connor. Connor,
Hey,
we also have a Pirates loss to the Yankees today, 6-3. What's going on?
this was a miserable game. I mean, it was truly miserable.
Yeah. Pirates been playing some pretty good baseball until these past two games against the Yankees.
Yeah. I mean, Ortiz was. I mean, let's just get to the pitching first. We all knew from watching Ortiz these last three starts that there was nothing about that was real, right? There was just, other than the improved changeup, there was absolutely nothing that he showcased that was like he's fixed something.
Right. No, I'll definitely agree with you there. Now, I do believe one of the games he had a little bit of an uptick in velocity, I believe. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, maybe
It wasn't
Atlanta because he
enough.
was he was hitting 97. I mean, it wasn't where it was last year, which is where it needs to be.
Right.
The way that he pitches, because he needs absolutely that elite stuff to get hitters out with the way his control is. Or if he's not going to have elite, 99th percentile stuff, he needs to have at least some semblance of idea of where the ball is going. And he has neither currently. So
Yeah, he definitely
and
didn't have either of that today.
or and we I didn't even mention that he gives up just so much hard contact. I mean, it's maybe the worst of any pitcher in baseball. It's up there.
It's not good. It's not good. I mean, certainly
No.
he's been a big disappointment this year. And, today just amplify like everything. It's just, he came into the game. You didn't really know what to expect. Now, like you said, like the results have been better. Again, results wise, right? Results wise, they have been better since he's come back up. But right, I mean, like this last outing he had 0 strikeouts, like absolutely 0 strikeouts. That's not what you need from Luis Ortiz for him to be successful, right? Like he's not a pitch to contact type of guy.
No,
So
especially because the Braves had like 5 hits off him in a row, like 100 miles an hour plus.
right.
You can't, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. So the Yankees Yankees lineup is not all that good. I mean, of course, like up top,
They're
pretty
hitting like
solid.
what,
But
215 since the All-Star break?
so I think 215, the second worst strikeout
That was coming
team.
into the series.
And granted, like I mean, Aaron Judge is really, really good. Like DJ
Yeah.
LeMahieu is good, right? Like Liberatore Torres is good enough, right? But it drops off. Like it's a complete drop off. Like this isn't the New York Yankees team that you would assume and expect to see, especially in September. It's a pretty bad bottom of lineup. So I mean, hey, who knows what's going to happen in this start? But Luis Ortiz comes out and he didn't have anything going. I mean, a walk. He did strike out Aaron Judge his first time at the bat, but a walk, another hit, a double, scores 2. I mean, he gets out of that inning, the first inning, with 3 runs. He labored, I think, 31 pitches in the first inning. Just it was exactly what you saw. I mean, I felt like the only strikes he threw were the ones that the ump graciously gave him.
Oh my God, yeah. No, that zone was just awful. I mean, it was awful all night, but
It was. And again, for
gave
both
gave
teams.
Angel last night a run for his money.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, anything you're throwing low was getting called a strike. Which ironically, that's where he was hitting a lot. Just he was even way too low to get graciously called a strike most of the time. But yeah, I want to say I think the first inning he had 31 pitches thrown and just 13 were for strikes. And as mentioned, he struck out Aaron Judge, and the one was clearly a ball way, way low. Smartly threw it right back in the same spot and got Aaron Judge to swing at it, and that's how the strikeout came. So, like right then and there, I was like, okay, maybe things are
I
gonna
don't.
turn around. Like he's playing smart. No, it was just coincidence.
Yeah, if
Kept
you had
walking.
any faith that was a repeat location on purpose, then
Okay, fair enough. He just happened to miss the same spot to
yeah,
go to the same
yeah,
place.
he just
That's what it
happened to
was.
miss the same spot.
That is fair. But again, it's 3-0. It looks like it's definitely gonna be one of those games with Luis Ortiz. Pirates offense, I don't know. Hey, they have Luke Weaver, who's been awful. And once again, we're talking about the New York Yankees. Have a pitcher. It's Luke Weaver who is
He was
god
claimed
awful.
off waivers 4 days ago.
Yeah. And
This was the guy that we faced in Seattle that we hit I think it was the 5 home run game.
oh, okay.
Because I
Maybe.
think that was Luke Weaver was the pitcher that Reynolds hit the 420-foot moonshot off of.
Gotcha.
I think that was Luke Weaver. I could be wrong.
Well, at
We'll
any
get to
rate,
it, Kenny. We'll get to it.
at any rate, it didn't go well. So that's the one thing. I mean, they had Luke Weaver pitching for them. They come out of the first inning, it's 3-2. Yankees still up, but Pirates, he was doing the same thing. He was Luis Ortiz, just in the Yankees uniform. He was walking everyone, getting hits. So it just looked like it was probably going to be a slugfest, right? Who's going to score the most runs? Who's going to have the least of the bad pitching today? And it actually kind of turned around. Now, granted, the pitching was still bad, but it wasn't like runs were abundant after the first inning.
Yeah, at one point, I think, what was it, 18 straight Pirates retired to end the game? Luke Weaver ended up with, 7, 8 strikeouts?
Yeah.
Granted, it was a very, very gracious zone, and there were a couple of just what are you even seeing back there calls. Particularly the one to Reynolds comes to mind, where it was just...
Jack got a pretty bad one. It was low as well on his full count. Nothing new there, but it was also a bad call for him. I know. But yeah, and again, to your point, it was both teams. It was absolutely both teams. It's just Luke Weaver was finding more strikes. Luis Ortiz wasn't. Luis Ortiz goes 4.2 with only 2 strikeouts, where Luke Weaver went 4 and had 7. Granted, only 2 walks.
Neither pitcher pitched well enough to deserve their line.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to, with the runs. It was a 6-3 ball game, right? They lose. Out of the first inning, it was 3-2. So, granted, the Yankees only scored 3 more, Pirates only 1, but the pitching really didn't get any better. Now,
yeah,
we could discuss, like you just mentioned, when Brito came in for the Yankees. Yeah, he went.
Well, that extended into the end of Weaver's start too, I think. The 15 in a row.
Oh, right. Well, no, was it him or?
Because it was
Hamilton
Weaver
and Holmes didn't either. So was that the 15 or was there 18 in total?
God, was there 18? Hold on.
That might be actually, you might be right.
God.
Because I think that was out there
pitiful.
before Holmes came in.
That's just pitiful.
So I think the Yankees did retire 18 in a row. If not, it was 15 for sure, we mentioned.
I underestimated how bad it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they hadn't reached since the 3rd, I don't think.
Okay, then I guess you are right there. So it started with Weaver, extended into Brito. Hamilton also didn't allow anyone.
Good
and then Holmes,
Lord.
of course, gets his 21st save of the season by going a hitless, walkless 9th with a strikeout.
Just pitiful stuff from the offense. There was obviously, we mentioned the Reynolds homer. Hayes had 2 hits, I think.
Started off 2 for 2. Ended up going 2 for 4. 1 to the warning track.
Deepest part of the ballpark. Yep. Just missed another one. It was that kind of night. This park plays deep to righties, so.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go ahead. Why the hell is Bay here? After there's just I just I'm done with any of the pretense with him. It's just after last night that he is starting the game at second base is disgusting. There is just no accountability on this team at all. None, 0, zip, zilch, none. It is disgusting to me that he displayed footwork that bad and they went, okay, you'll get another chance there today. It doesn't matter that you get picked off 5 times in a row. You'll get more chances.
I was going to say
He is so undeserving of any of the opportunities he has ever gotten, and it's all because he is fast. There is nothing he is fundamentally good at on a baseball field. He's not a good fundamental runner. He can't read a pitcher. He gets picked off and caught stealing just a ton, and he hasn't been as aggressive on the base paths because they know that he is a terrible base runner, and they're not going to let him run again. So he's not even getting the most out of his speed. He's an absolute dreadful defender at second base with god-awful footwork. He takes awful routes to baseballs and then, ends up making a highlight play at the end because of the bad routes that he takes. And he's an awful hitter. His OPS is like 640. Why is he here?
It comes down to, it's one of those situations where if it's not Bae, it's Alika Williams. And Alika Williams, you want to talk about deserving as well. Like, I don't feel like he's been deserving of being on the roster as well. I mean, it all comes back down why is Nick Gonzalez not here then?
But Bae has gotten a season's worth of chances now. And he has just been dreadful the entire way.
I get that.
What kind of message does that send to the rookies on this team that this guy can fuck up just constantly? Just game blunder multiple a week. And just there's never accountability for it. There's never accountability for results because his development is happening at the major league level. And not only is his development at the major league level, but he's not developing.
I get it. Peguero's at short now. Peguero made an error as well, but I mean, Peguero's been playing very good shorts for the most part. A lot better than I expected. We saw the error that was made last night, which literally cost them the game. Today's error didn't cost them the game, but it was a pretty bad error again from Ji-Hwan Bae. And to your point too about second base. And,
even today, today he messed up again today.
Right.
It was the double play ball that wasn't a double play ball. It was hit up the middle, and he fielded it, and he tried to go to second when there was nobody there, and he just had no chance to get judged there. And and the throw to first was late because he tried to get the unassisted out at second, and then the runner was safe. Now they ended up getting out of it. It didn't cost them any runs this time. But
granted, it's just one of those things. We've been talking about this for a while. Like you say fast, like his game is fast, right? That's what his game is predicated on mostly, is because he's fast. But like the game is also just too fast for Ji-Hwan Bae. It's yet to slow down for him. It's yet to just slow down and he can play it. Everything is fast. Everything is fast. And that leads to these mistakes and errors. The double play last night, the play you mentioned today. Like, what was he thinking mentally? Like, why are you even attempting to run into the bag? You're not making that out at second. So, and because you weren't there mentally to make the right play, you delayed it, thrown to first. Yes, he was called out initially. They replay it, overturned. He's safe. He's just not a good defender. I was going to say, what's ironic and funny to me is, now I feel he's athletic enough that he probably could become a decent center fielder. But like, how are you a much better center fielder than you are a second baseman? And that's not saying he's a good center fielder.
This isn't even like
he's a better center fielder than he is even a second baseman. And that's like pretty absurd right now.
And this isn't even like a Henry Davis thing where they're just asking him to play second and he hasn't played second in like ever. He is a middle infielder by trade.
They asked him
and he is awful
to play center. He's doing that
awful.
Better. But at any rate,
yeah, okay. Yeah.
Also,
no, that's gives me a lot of hope.
But also, he goes 0 for 3 today. He did have a walk. Like the bat's just not, it's one of those things.
I'm not impressed by a walk against Luke Weaver.
What's that?
I'm not impressed by a walk against Luke Weaver today.
No, I'm saying to be impressed. But what I'm saying is, like, at least Alika Williams has defense, right? There is a part of his ability that presents a positive to the team, and it's not enough to warrant you every day. But like, if you're going to come in like last night, him being a second base or him being a shortstop, Peguero moving to second, that would have been a better situation, right? Like, that's why he's on the team. That's when he gets in there. Like, at least there's something positive that he brings to the table. With Bae, it's not the offense. It's clearly not the defense. Like, I'm not sure what it is. And if it's the speed Well, he's not using it, right? That's something we talked about last time. I think you and I were on. Like, he's not as aggressive on those base pass, but like when he is, he still gets out. Like, he doesn't use his speed to an advantage either. It hurts him. So like, he's not bringing anything to the table right now. Now we can go back and forth. Like, why is he playing? Well, if he's not, it's going to be Alika, and like Alika's. It all comes back to like, why is Nick Gonzalez really not here? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Like, if Nick Gonzalez was here, he's performing better. Maybe he gets a hit today. Maybe he doesn't make that error.
Nick Gonzalez was pretty bad when he was here.
He was.
He was bad.
Fair to say those two that we're talking about are as well.
But it is missed the reasons why he was bad. I'm sorry, poor grammar. Were not related to anything fundamentally. There was nothing fundamentally lacking about Nick Gonzalez's game.
Yeah.
At least, in the time that we saw, nothing that was absolutely glaring. There are just glaring fundamental holes in every aspect of Ji-hwan Bae's game. He is a bad baseball player that just gets, and he's gotten so many more chances than Nick Gonzalez has, or basically anybody else on this roster. It's just absolutely mystifying. You have to have accountability for results at some point. At some point, if the Pirates are going to be really serious about this, and they're you know what, we're gonna compete in 2024, we're gonna compete in 2025. You got to have accountability for this kind of stuff. You just do.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if the player behind you is just as bad, or if you don't have anybody else. If you are this bad of a fundamental baseball player, you cannot be playing in the majors and you cannot be starting. It's unacceptable.
Right. So, again, Ji-hwan Bae for the second day does no help for the Pirates. But again, like outside those first few innings, the Pirates offense just went away. You touched on, Reynolds did go 1 for 2 with the big home run today. Hayes also 2 for 4, and the other 2 outs were. I just want to say something about Hayes. It's September 16th today, and he's still going. There's other 2 outs to finish it. Like, they were hit pretty hard.
Is he gonna reach like 285?
Right. What's that?
He might, his average. It's creeping up there.
Oh, his OPS is nearing to like 800 right now.
He might creep up to like 280.
He's playing really good, still sustaining it. I'm so encouraged by Ke'Bryan Hayes right now. And I understand, we can go back to Luke Weaver thing too, right? But he is doing this day in, day out for the most part, still, no matter who's up to bat or who's pitching. And you're right. He is at a 762 OPS right now. Ke'Bryan Hayes. This is a guy who is creeping into the 500s not really too long ago. We were talking, is Hayes going to hit the 500 mark? Not 500 even, but in the 500s, right? 590s. And now he's at a 762. So Hayes goes 2 for 4 as mentioned. And outside of that, that was it. Rivas did have that double off the Clemente wall. And then decides to stay at second base and not advance afterwards. Another base running mistake by this Pirates team.
He's a useless player that I could lay into almost as hard as I did Bae tonight, but it's just not worth it, because hopefully he's gone before the start of next year. I'm so terrified that they're going to stick with Bae and just have him be on the 2024 roster too.
Yeah.
Rivas is just the same thing, where it's just, at least his glove isn't that bad, but he's just an awful hitter, and he's an awful base runner. And you can't have a first baseman that can't hit.
You did see Rivas hit his own head on that swing today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
he might take more pitches down the middle and not do anything with them than Jack Sawinski. We know Jack does that a lot. But Rivas does it so much more.
Yeah.
I mean, pitchers they don't even bother. All pretense is dropped when Rivas comes to the plate. They just throw strikes and he can't hit it.
He's a guy looking to get a walk as well, for the most part. Yeah, and it's kind of going down. Like you mentioned Jack. Jack does go 0 for 4 today. Just one strikeout. As I talked, that one strikeout, it was a ball. It was down low.
He's been doing better.
He has. And my biggest thing about him is, especially in full counts, that you got to protect the plate. I'm not going to put that one on him because that was way off. There's a lot of questionable ones he doesn't swing at. Protect the plate, swing the bat. But that one was pretty bad. So the one strikeout, really, I'm not going to fault him at all. And then, Indy goes over 2 with a walk. Does have a sac fly, which was started because Jack Sawinski did put a ball in play, advanced Brian Hayes to third. Indy does go ahead and score him by a sac fly.
Not all outs are equal, right?
That's right. Not all outs are equal. Not always going to first base are equal either.
Yep.
So, that's going to be my narrative for the rest of the year. But no, I do want to say, though, very bad performances. Yes, Josh Palacios has 3 strikeouts today, going over 4, but Henry Davis makes his first start in his return at DH, goes 0 for 3, golden sombrero. Yikes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's his first major league at bat in like pretty long time.
Right.
He hasn't played for the most part for a long time. That said, you really wanted to see better production out of him this year. I knew that coming up he might have some trouble with the off-speed pitches because of just how much he tries to pull the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think it would be this much. And it was just kind of unflattering when he took the called strike 3 that was just right down the I don't think it was strike 3, but he took a pitch that was just right down the middle.
Which he's done more than you want. Now he does have
more
good
than
eye.
you
He does have
want.
pretty
And
decent bat to ball skills.
I have
but
opinions on who to blame for that, but that's tonight's not
sure. But you were kind of encouraged. He's on the mend. He's having his rehab in Indy, and I think he went like 13 for 11 basically while he was there. Like he had 2 more hits than he was up to bat. That's how good he was. But then, and he's facing, like you mentioned, you talk about Luke Weaver. I mean, this isn't like a challenging pitcher. So Henry Davis is back. He's already a good hitter. He's tearing up AAA. Maybe he's going to come in. This is going to be a big game for him. I kind of felt that. Again, it's Luke Weaver, and that wasn't the case. 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. Looked pretty silly at the plate today. Again, it's just one game, but it kind of goes in the way his season has progressed. It hasn't been too good recently.
Yeah. And I mean, and there was that brief stretch where he looked ready.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was hitting, and then he just didn't. And then the strikeouts came.
And granted, I'm not going to go like the Bucko Mike route and say he's a bust and not going to be good. I'm still encouraged by him, right? Like this doesn't change the whole trajectory of Henry Davis in my mind. It's just one of those things that just isn't encouraging to see.
He forced his way to the major leagues in such a small number of at-bats that I'm not worried until like next July with him.
Sure. And it's still, I mean, I don't know. I could look it up. I mean, it's still well under like 200 plate appearances he has in the majors and stuff.
Yeah.
But here's something to talk about. It is September 16th. Brian Hayes has an OPS of 762. Henry Davis has an OPS of 635. Like, if this was 2 months ago, you probably would assume those were flipped. That's what we're talking about right now. One's encouraging.
Yeah. Others not.
And then
it's the same with Rodriguez. I think he has shown moments where the hit tool is so very real. That pitch that he pulled the hands in Milwaukee, I think it was. That was okay. You can hit major league pitching, it's just, again, with him, the results just kind of aren't there.
Yep.
Although
Sure.
I think he'll come around too. I really do.
Oh yeah, it's one of those two, like the eye test. Like you look at him and he's gonna get there. He's gonna get there.
Now the blocking has a way to come.
It does, and that did cost a run today as well.
Yeah,
it does. The arm is legit.
The arm's legit. He throws out base runners. It is accurate. It is strong. It is everything you want. But blocking needs some work.
It absolutely does. No, good point. And then the Pirates offense in total, just kind of wrap it up here: 12 Ks, 2 walks, just those 4 hits as mentioned. And back to the pitching again. We talked about Luis Ortiz. He certainly had his struggles. Hunter Stratton comes in. He goes 2.1, 2 strikeouts, gives up the earned run there.
Hunter Stratton and Thomas Hatch just aren't worth talking about. Neither is Colin Selby.
Then let's do that, because those guys came in and just didn't look good. Jose Hernandez comes in for needed one out, gets the one out by strikeout. It is what it is. But I guess it's kind of tough, like touch on that a bit, like Stratton and Hatch, right? Like Hatch has not looked good for a while. I'm done with Hatch.
Yeah,
there's no intrigue for me.
He's a guy. And so is Hunter Stratton. I am shocked. Yeah, I don't even know that he's a guy. I am shocked that it took this long for Hunter Stratton to start getting exposed, because he wasn't good in AAA.
No, though to his credit, he had a very, very strong ending, and that's why they called him up. And again, it was well deserved to call up, but I am not too sure I'm seeing much in Hunter Stratton. It's not like the Yeri De Los Santos where he came up and you see some intrigue there. And no, Hunter Stratton just whatever.
Yeah. And of course, Colin Selby, who is, as Jim mentioned, the opener tomorrow for God knows what reason.
He's odd. And I say that he's not good, but when he is, he's really good. You just don't get that off.
If he had any kind of feel for pitching, he might be something, but he doesn't.
Right.
So he's not.
Last night he was good. And I feel like,
and what that bring his ERA down to 7.1.
Right. 8.2. 8.2.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm alluding to. It's like he's not good. I'm not really that intrigued by Selby and whatnot, but like when he is good, he's actually like really good. And last night showed that. There's been some openings that he's done and he's looked really, really good. So like if good Colin Selby is out tomorrow, it'll be immaculate, I feel.
Yeah, but good Colin Selby's like winning the lottery.
There's no in between with him. Like that's why and it's more bad than good, but like there is just no in between with Colin Selby, I feel.
Well, it's just when he happens to accidentally hit his spots.
Right.
Again, Hunter Stratton had like upper 5s walks per 9 in AAA. Colin Selby had 6.35 walks per 9 in AAA. That is just abysmal. And he's just showcased that. I mean, I know this isn't a Colin Selby episode, but there are a lot of guys in his bullpen who just aren't good. And I can't
because
blame
all the
Derek
pitchers
Shelton.
Also, besides 2, are bullpen arms.
I can't blame Derek Shelton for anything that happens with the pitching staff because he is working with just so little. We talk about Shelton a lot and we talk about his managerial prowess. You have to if a guy is in your bullpen, you probably should have him pitch at least once a week. And that is tough when your options are Colin Selby, Thomas Hatch, Hunter Stratton. It's tough. I don't know what he could do better with bullpen management because it's just, there's nothing there. Majinski,
Yep.
Holderman, and Bednar are good. So is Barucki. But you can't just ride those 4 pitchers.
Well, it's going to be Selby to begin. Hopefully, there's a good Selby. He'll be matched up. We match up with Carlos Rodon, who is not having a good season himself either. So, we talk. I mean, the Yankees aren't a good team. He has not been pitching well. He has a 6.14 ERA himself. So there's a chance the Pirates don't get swept tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow. And I guess with that said, before we go, any last words, Connor?
Oh, you know what? I have to share this because it's funny. I took a nap around noon today, and I swear to God, I had a dream that Ji-Won Bae was playing first base.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
Though he might be better as a first baseman.
There's a chance.
There's a chance. It just shows how bad he is as a second baseman. That's all.
Yeah, what is his... I need to look this up. He can't
What's
be
that?
good. His outs above average at second base.
Oh, it's not.
I know
looked
it's...
up
It doesn't
too
take a
recently,
genius
but it's
to
not.
guess at that one. It is... Hold on.
You're too slow, Connor. I'm ending the
0.
show. Is it 0?
That is shocking because it was like -4 earlier this year.
Interesting. All right. Well, on that note,
I don't
let's get
think
out
it
of here.
matters. We know he's not good.
We'll be back tomorrow, as mentioned, after the Pirates Yankees game, which starts at 1:35. For everyone else who's watching the Steelers lose their game instead, we'll see you guys afterwards as well. So, bye-bye.
Bye. Peace.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.